Fine. So recording is on. So guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's lecture. So today again we are gonna talk about food packaging. So this topic is, I mean, it's not that important from examination point of view, but only one topic, that is canning. So canning is a bit important. So we'll talk about that in detail. Otherwise, I mean, even if you skip this topic, it hardly makes any difference, right? So, guys, before starting our class, let's begin with a positive vibe, with a positive thought. So, if you see on your screen, it's a very, very beautiful lines. You do not find the happy life, you make it. So, guys, always have a purpose in your life. So, try to achieve that purpose, right? And always try to make your life happy. No one else is gonna make your life happy, and you cannot find happiness. You have to make it for yourself, right? So, guys, with these beautiful lines, let's begin with our lecture. So, guys, today we are going to talk about food packaging methods, and also we'll talk about few novel technologies. So, as I said, I mean, this topic is just for your knowledge. From examination point of view, I hardly think there might be any question which FSSAI might ask. Yeah, but maybe in mains they might ask, because from the pre-perspective, from the pre examination point of view, this topic is not that important. But yeah, only the canning part is important, because canning, it is important from, from a preservation point of view, as well as from a packaging point of view. So canning plays two roles. So yeah, I mean, it's very, very important. Then apart from that, other packaging methods, these are very, very basic. So I'll just run you through the slides so that you get an idea, right? So first of all, guys, if you see, why do we require packaging? I mean, it's very, very basic why packaging is required, right? So if you see, before we talk about that, so food, as you know, since we have been talking about microbes from our previous classes, like 6 to 7 classes, we spoke a lot about microbes, right? So food, guys, food is a very, very nutritious, right? Food is very nutritious thing which can attract microbes very easily. So food is an ideal medium for microbes to grow, thereby inhibiting the development of these. We can increase the shelf life of the food. So that is, I mean, it's very basic. In order to increase the shelf life, in order to keep the food safe and healthy for the consumer, so the growth of these microbes needs to be hindered, right? So food industry, they got to know about this fact very, very early. So now they are developing novel technologies, novel methods with which this growth of these microbes can be hindered. And and their shelf life, basically, majorly the shelf life can be increased. So major role of the packaging is to keep the microbes out and to increase the shelf life, right? So that is why food industry, it's striving each day. They are coming with novel methods, novel technologies to keep the microbes away. So as you see, there are various ways to keep the microbes, right, away. For example, preservation, then maintaining sanitary conditions, hygienic conditions, sanitary of the food, the guy who prepares the food. So all those factors. But packaging also is another method which plays a major role, right? So if you see, if I take you to the next slide, so packaging, it has numerous roles. For example, storage. So storage is a very basic role. For example, you want to sell a product in the market, and you want to sell it in the supermarket, right? So how do you sell it? You require a particular storage, right? Better packaging, so which can store your product. So that is why the very basic role of the food packaging is to storage, for the storage purposes, right? Then the second major role it plays is protection. So it protects your food against, deterioration, then leakage, then breakage, dehydration, contamination, alteration, and other physical. It also protects from the physical shocks which the food might come under during transportation, right? Or during whenever the food is transported from one place to another. Also, it also protects against barrier against the oxygen, vapor, dust, bacteria. So this is how food packaging protects our food, right? So during transportation, and also against the oxygen, water vapor, dust, bacteria. So this is the basic role which how packaging can protect our food. And also, guys, third point, if you see, it also provides information. For example, you would have seen on the product label. So there is a list of ingredients, nutritional facts, then price, then a warning, certain kind of warnings which one should observe while purchasing the food. And also there should be description about the food. And also it acts as a, the label, the packaging also act as a marketing tool for the food industry. Because you would have seen, imagine, you go to a supermarket, so there are thousands of products, but what attracts you to a particular brand? For example, you go and buy a biscuit, right? So what is that which attracts to the certain biscuit brand, for example Britannia or Oreo? So guys, the packaging also attracts you. The marketing team of these food business operators, they design it in such a way that at a first glance, it attracts us. So that is how, I mean, it also acts as a marketing material apart from providing the information. Yeah, so that is what I was talking about, promotion. So these supermarkets, when you go to the supermarkets, the packaging that attracts you, so that is the thing which you tend to buy, right? So that is the normal human tendency. So it also acts as a promotion material. And yeah, even in transportation, you can transport, for example, if you need to transport 1 liter of milk and you have a better packaging, for example, your Tetra Pak, right? So it eases in transportation. So transportation become very easy. And you can transport it to, I mean, thousands of kilometers, it won't get destroyed, right? So these are the five major functions which packaging plays. So just remember these five functions. I mean, these are very, very basic. So storage, protection, information, and then promotion and transportation. So this is what packaging helps in. So this was the very, very basic. So guys, now let's talk about canning. So canning is one of the preservation technique, and also uh, it also is a packaging technique, right? So now we'll talk in detail, because yesterday I spoke about canning in our preservation lecture, but I did not talk about this in detail. But today we'll talk about in detail, because canning plays a dual role. So now talking about canning. So canning is very, very basic technique again. So if you see, so canning is a method to preserve food in jars at a high temperature for a long period of time. So again, this is nothing but a heat treatment. So you expose the food, you keep the food in the jars, and you just export it to the high temperature. And for the obvious reason, that is for killing of the microbes and inactivating the enzymes that could cause the food spoilage, right? So the heat process pushes the air from the jar, creating a vacuum seal as food cools. So guys, in canning, I think, I mean, it's a very, very interesting technique, because you in canning, you first fill the food in the jar, you lock the jar, and you place it in the water bath, basically water bath, or there are another canning techniques, but majorly water bath canning is preferred by the industry. So now when you heat it, when you heat the jar, I mean, jar is closed, but when you heat the jar, so the heat process, it pushes air from the jar. So canning, it's designed in such a way that the heating, it pushes the air out of the jar, and it creates a vacuum seal. So this is how the food is, protected from the microorganisms, because there is a complete vacuum which gets generated when you expose the food to the canning technique. And these are just few facts. So father of canning, Nicholas Appert. So this was the scientist, not scientist actually, he was a chef. So he invented the this method of canning for food preservation. So canning, it was not widely used until 1896, but after the discovery of the bacteria Clostridium botulinum. So guys, this is very, very important. Whenever the word canning, whenever you see the word canning anywhere, I mean, be it exam or be it the supermarket, or whenever you see in your kitchen, whenever you see the food packed in the can, so the first thing that should come in your mind is Clostridium botulinum. So this is the bacteria which, canning, these food business operators, why do they canning? The major reason is to remove this bacteria Clostridium botulinum, because this bacteria can survive at high temperature. So if this bacteria is removed, then your canning is successful, your canning technique is successful. So they strive to remove the Clostridium botulinum, because it can cause botulism. Botulism is a disease which could be very, very fatal. Right. So this botulism, the Clostridium botulinum, this was discovered by Emily van Armengen. So this scientist discovered the Clostridium botulinum. So this was discovered in 1896. Although canning was discovered in early 80s, but it became famous only after 1896 because it was found that Clostridium botulinum is the microorganism. If that is removed during the canning process, then canning is successful. Then your food is completely sterile or preserved, right? So moving ahead, so guys, if you see canning method, so now I'll give you a brief about what is canning basically. So guys, in canning, these are the major steps. I mean, these are the very basic steps, I would say, which are followed during canning the food. So first the food is cleaned, then the food is filled in the can. So just note down these points. uh, First of all, the food is clean, then it is filled inside the can, then there is an exhausting stage. So during exhausting, vacuum is created. With the help of vacuum, all the air is removed from the can. Don't worry, I'll talk about this in detail in my next slide. This is just an overview. And then can are sealed, then the food is exposed to heat to make it sterile. And then also when you are exposing to the heat, so it plays dual role. It kills the microbes and it also cooks the food that you have put in the can. So cooking also takes place simultaneously. Then again, after that, when all the process is done, then the labeling or casing or storage of the cans can be carried out, right? So yeah, I mean, guys, this is very basic chapter. Hardly there would be any question if I am not wrong. Even last time there was hardly any question. There was no question. Even this time there won't be any question. But yeah, I mean, it's a topic we cannot, skip this. But yeah, I mean, just go through the points, right? So cleaning of the food. So guys, cleaning is basically, I mean, this is a very basic step. So at industrial level, so cleaning, if you just go and type in Google, so cleaning of the food can be done by various machines, various apparatus. Sometimes they use high spray nozzles, and sometimes they use rotating wheels depending on the food. So cleaning of the food is very basic. So at industrial level, there are various equipments and machines which can be employed for faster cleaning of the food. Then after cleaning the food, then the food is filled in the cans. So after filling in the cans, then this step is very important. This is known as exhausting. So now the vacuum is used to remove air from the food and the can. So guys, majorly the green leafy vegetables, right? So whenever these green leafy vegetables are canned, so these green leafy vegetables, they have a lot of oxygen stored in their leaves. So now the vacuum removal of air is very important, because if air remains inside the can which you are going to sterilize later, so then there is no point, right? Because microbes can easily survive. So now vacuum is used so that oxygen can be completely removed from the food, especially, and definitely from the can, right? So exhausting is just basically removing of the air with the help of the vacuum, external vacuum. So then the cans are sealed. So sealing is also a very important step here, because proper sealing is the crucial point here. Because if the cans are not sealed properly, then it could lead to again, microbes can easily attack food, and food can become rancid, and all those things might take place. So can sealing is also another important step. So if you see here, airtight seal is achieved with the gasket. So normally you would have seen a gasket is nothing but a rubber sealing. So you would have seen these normally the glass cans. So these glass cans, they have a plastic caps. So it's a airtight seal, right? So that is achieved with the help of gasket. So this is nothing to, I mean, this is nothing rocket science. So just can sealing, it is achieved with the gasket. That's it. So heat sterilization, then after sealing the can, then the food is sterilized. So now food is exposed to heat. So if you see on the next slide, so guys, this is basically what happens during canning. So this is the very basic example. So at industrial level, they might be using high end machines, but this is the very basic level if you want to understand what canning is. So normally during sterilization, so this is nothing but a boiling water can. So when the food is kept in the jars, then the jars are sealed, exhausting is done. So now nothing is done, nothing is to be done. It is just to be placed in the this boiling water. So this is where the sterilization take place. So boiling, it cooks the food, and it also uh, kills all the microorganisms which are present in the food, and also it leads to the removal of all the air which is present in the food. So guys, if you see, important point which you need to note is Clostridium botulinum cannot survive in highly acidic food. So now guys, highly acidic food whose pH is less than 5, so this microorganism, as you know, this microorganism is very, very important when it comes to canning. So food industries, they make sure to remove this microorganism, but it cannot survive in highly acidic food. So majorly the foods which have low acid, which fall in the basic category, so these are the food which will be conducted for canning. So canning must be done for such kind of food, although canning is also done for acidic foods. But this bacteria, it cannot survive, so it's an added advantage, right, in for the acidic foods. So when we talk about heating, so heat sterilization, so the time and temperature. So whenever you are exposing to any heat, so as you know, food is a very, very delicacy, right? It's a very delicate item. So time and temperature plays a very, very major role. So time and temperature is decided by the food industry depending on the type of the microorganisms they want to remove, because microorganism, it varies, right, from food to food. As we read when we spoke about microbes in our previous classes, we read about, like, for example, salmonella, it is very, very specific to eggs, right? And other microbes, there are very, very specific to the particular food. So now if they want to carry out the canning of the vegetarian food, so the class of microorganisms which the scientist or the food business operators would like to remove would be different, right? So type of microorganism, first point is the heating would depend on the type of microorganisms which you want to remove, and also the size of the container, and also pH of the food, right? So now major canning process is designed to destroy spores of Clostridium botulinum. So guys, this is the as I said, this bacteria is very, very important. Whenever you listen to the word canning, so this is what should come to your mind first: Clostridium botulinum. So the major goal of the canning is to remove the spores of this bacteria, that is Clostridium botulinum. As I told you in my previous class, so spores are inactive compounds. I mean, microbes, they enter in, not compounds. These are basically inactive microbes, right? So these microbes, they go into dormant stage, but they also return to their vegetative state whenever they get their favorite environment in the food, right? So the removal of the spores is very, very tricky, and it's very, very important, right? So this is the objective of the canning, to remove the spores of this Clostridium botulinum. So how this is done? So it is done by immersing the cans in the boiling water. So boiling water can range from 100 to 130 degree, and the time ranges from 25 to 60 minutes. So guys, again, this is not standard timing. So this could depend upon the type of food, then type of microorganism, type of container, pH of the food. So this is not standard, and it can vary from food to food, from industry to industry, from size of the lot which needs to be canned, and other various factors, right? And further guys, after canning, so once the canning process is done for 25 to 60 minutes, so this is followed by cooling the can in the water bath of 38 degrees Celsius. So as soon as the jars or the cans are removed from the water bath, they are immediately transferred to the water bath which is maintained at 38 degrees Celsius to this is basically a cooling process, right? So moving ahead, yeah, so guys, this was about canning, but now if you see, there are also few disadvantages of the canning. So since majorly if you go to the market, you would see metal cans, right? So food is majorly present in the metal cans. So poor handling can result in the cracking of the internal lacquer. So guys, if you would have seen, whenever you go next, you buy a can, so you would see there is a thin plastic layer inside the can, right? For example, this is the can. So in the inner side of the can, it would be completely covered with the thin layer of plastic. very thin plastic film actually. So that is known as lacquer. So now this internal lacquer, it protects the food to come in direct contact with the metal, right? So since the wall of the inside of the wall of the jar, it is covered with the lacquer, so it prevents direct contact of the food with the metal, because metal, as you know, it could cause harm to the food in long run, right? So that is why they add this thin layer of plastic film. So this exposes product to come in direct contact with the underlying metal, leading to corrosion. Yeah, this is the reason why they use this layer to prevent the direct contact of the food with the metal, which could lead to corrosion in longer run, right? And also bisphenol A, bisphenol F enters from the canned lacquer into the canned food, posing health concerns. So guys, although they have solved the problem of corrosion with the help of this internal lacquer, but again, this internal lacquer, this thin film is itself very dangerous, because this thin film, it contains bisphenol A and bisphenol F. So this can enter into the canned food and it's various health concerns. So I mean, that is why especially in India, canned food is not preferred. Mostly we preferred our home cooked food, and that is good also, right? Because home cooked food, you eat fresh food. So majorly this canned food and all this packaged food, these are preferred in you can say foreign countries majorly, and also in metropolitan cities in India, right? But you should avoid eating canned food, because I mean it can cause various issues, right? So moving ahead. Yes. So guys, that's all about canning. So now we'll talk about the various other packaging methods or the packaging techniques. And I mean, you would have seen this in your daily life, right? So inked papers, for example, sometime if you eat any street food, right? So those street food guys, they tend to give you the food in your newspaper. For example, if you are in Maharashtra, you might have eaten vada pav. They give you vada pav in, or if you're in North, they give you samosas, or the pakoras in newspaper. So that is very dangerous. So that is completely banned by FSSAI, I would say, because FSSAI has clearly given in their directions that no food vendor or food business operator should use newspaper for giving the food or storing the food. So whenever you see next time, whenever you go and eat food from the street vendors, make sure you can even guide them that this is not safe, because the ink that is used in these newspapers, that is very dangerous. So this ink can be very easily transferred to our food. So make sure when you go next to the food vendors, just try to uh, pass on this message to them. They might be unaware, but this is your duty. So tomorrow also, whenever you join as a food safety officer or a technical officer, or be it any position in the FSSAI, so this would be your primary duty to spread knowledge to ensure healthy and safe food to the consumer. So how that safe food can reach to the consumer? Only when you teach the food business operators or the street food vendors, right? So not only newspapers, also you would have seen this packaging material. For example, you would have seen chips packets. So the interesting thing that you would have noticed is the marketing material, or the list of ingredients, or all the designs which are made on the food packet, that are on the outer side, not on the inner side. Because again, if there are any designs or any ink is used on the inner side of the packaging, that can again get transferred to the food, which can be very dangerous for us, right? So now let's talk about the inked papers. So yeah, as I was referring, so according to the FSSAI, now we are gonna cover regulations in detail when we cover about when we talk about unit one. So in unit one, when we come to unit one, we'll talk about regulations in detail. There are 16 to 18 regulations, and don't worry, I'll take you through each and every regulation. It's very easy. So as per FSSAI Food Packaging Regulation 2018, so this regulation was given by FSSAI in 2018. The printed surfaces shall not come in direct contact with the food. So see, FSSAI has clearly given this indication. They have made it a regulation. So whoever violates this regulation, they are liable to get punished, right? So they have said food should not come in direct contact with the printed surfaces. So that is the reason why these big food business operators, that is the reason why they print the promotion material or the designs of the food that attracts you on the outer surface, right? Also, FSSAI has gone to such an extent, they have also given the printing ink which should be used. So the printing ink which should be used, it should be of the standard 15495. So this is, don't go in detail, it's not at all important for you guys, this is just for your knowledge, because tomorrow when you join as a food safety officer, you just need to know the standard of the ink. That's it. It's not important from the examination point of view, but from a, I mean, knowledge point of view, right? So FSSAI said the ink should be of this standard. It should be of 15495. This is the normal standard of the ink which should be used. And also because, guys, in other inks, they use heavy metals like titanium, chromate, molybdenum, and iron. So these are used in ink production and are really, really dangerous. So also when we spoke about contamination from the metals, and I'm sure I taught you about chromate and molybdenum or iron, and not only these metals but also various other class of metals. So these metals can be very, very dangerous, because whenever you uh, uh, add hot food to these metals, or if since these metals are used in making the ink, so whenever you store hot food in these newspapers, so these inks can easily get transferred from the newspaper or the packaging material to the food, and it can be really, really dangerous. Yeah, so that is what I was saying. So heat, oil, and water in food increases migration of these inks into the food. Yeah, I mean, if food is hot, if the oil is hot, then easily these inks or the heavy metals can migrate from the packaging material to the food, and ultimately it can land in our body and cause various health diseases. And that is why, guys, it's the reason why in India now the cases of cancer and the cases of obesity, cases of kidney disease, cases of liver disease, they are on rise. These are the reasons. And tomorrow when you join as a food safety officer or a technical officer, so this is your duty to spread the awareness. That is what FSSAI is also doing through its various awareness programs, about which we'll talk later in our classes when we cover the unit first. So these are the very, very basic things, but we tend to ignore those things, right? So, and these are leading to these kidney diseases, liver diseases, and all type of other issues that we face on our daily life, right? So now, guys, let's talk about takeaway containers. So normally you would have ordered food from Swiggy or Zomato, and if you order it from different restaurants, you would have seen different restaurants uses different type of takeaway containers, right? For example, if you talk about McDonald's, all these international chains, all these international the restaurants, so normally they have completely shifted to safe and eco-friendly packaging material. For example, paper. So paper is very, very inert, right? So but if you order the food from your any local store, right? So you would have seen they used majorly plastic containers, or other type of containers which are of cheap quality. So now if I take you to next slide, you would see these containers are very, very it can cause various health diseases, right? So if you see, mostly these containers are made up of polystyrene, that is styrofoam, and it is close to it's a non carcinogen. So guys, this styrofoam which these Swiggy guys, they get the food from the restaurant and they give it to you, that styrofoam is very, very dangerous. It is a non carcinogen. So make sure whenever you order food from outside, so if it comes in this package, I mean, there is no option for you guys right now. That is why, avoid ordering from outside. You should cook the healthy food at home and eat at home, right? So yeah, but make sure avoid these materials, polystyrene, because it could lead to cancer. Again, placing hot food in it causes leaching of the chemicals into the food, because styrofoam, it's very, very reactive. Whenever hot food is placed in this packaging material, all the chemicals which are used in making this styrofoam, they can easily leach into your food, and ultimately it lands in your body. So now, I mean, this might not cause an health issue if you eat food occasionally, right? But the people who stay in metropolitan cities, the working professionals, right, they if they are not able to cook food daily, so they order it from Swiggy and Zomato, right? So it can be a major issue for them, but occasionally I don't think so. It might cause an issue, but yeah, avoid eating food in the polystyrene containers, right? All these containers are treated with PFAS, that is polyfluoroalkyl substances, which could lead to a reproduction problem, then liver and kidney problems. So all these containers, they are treated with this material, that is PFAS, that is polyfluoroalkyl substances. So these are very, very dangerous. This could lead to liver disease, kidney disease, and even it could despair your reproductive organs. So make sure next time whenever you eat from out, avoid eating food in these containers, right? And also try to spread this awareness whenever you talk to your parents or whenever you talk to your friends. Make sure you pass on this knowledge to them. So knowledge, if you distribute, it would further spread. So make sure you talk about this to your near ones, right? So now let's talk about plastic containers. So plastic containers, I mean, these are the best and the easiest and the cheapest mode of packaging, right? But now you would notice when I take you to the next slide, so the plastics are, I would say, these are the most dangerous packaging material which you can find in the market. But yeah, I mean, also nowadays there are several standards which are even approved by FSSAI for the plastic containers. So now guys, about these standards we'll talk about in regulations. Now you would wonder, if these packaging materials have such a big issues, why they are allowed in the market? Because FSSAI has given particular standards. So for plastic containers, FSSAI has given particular standard in which food can be stored. If those standards are not met, then that food business operator, he is liable to punishment, right? So now if we talk about plastic containers, so plastic containers, guys, these are made up of PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride. So again, they release phthalates. So phthalates are nothing but the chemicals which are used to make plastic more malleable. So you would have seen plastics in different shape. So phthalates are the compounds which are helpful, which make sure that the malleability of the plastic, it increases so that it can be molded into different shapes. So this could result into hormone disruption, obesity, cardiovascular disease. It also impacts kidney. And the bisphenol A, which is used in these polyvinyl chlorides in the plastics, so especially in the water bottles, this can lead to cancer. So guys, make sure to avoid plastic or to have food only in the plastic which is either claimed as biodegradable or it is following certain standards as set by the FSSAI, right? So yeah, I mean, you should avoid using plastic, rather I would say, because plastic is not at all good for environment per se, right? So this could lead to major diseases like obesity, cardiovascular disease. It can impact your kidney and hormone disruption, and majorly on extreme, it could lead to cancer, right? So now moving ahead. So now guys, I'll talk about few novel packaging techniques or the novel packaging material. So now, since there are a lot of issues, right? So now the scientific community, they are coming up with novel technologies which can help to preserve food and also which is not harmful for our body, right? So now if you see, nanotechnology, guys, it's playing a major role. So if you see, I mean, I have just taken a one example here. So if you go to my notes, the notes which I have shared, I have given you few other techniques also. But this topic is not at all important from examination point of view. So that is why I'm not going in detail, in depth, right? So now I'll just give you a one example. If you see nano sensors, so guys, nano sensors, so now there are four classes of nano sensors which are being used, although they might not be being used in India, but definitely in foreign countries, for example US, Europe. So in all those countries, these nano sensors are already employed in the food packaging material. So if you see nano biosensors, then metallized nano sensors, then temperature abuse indicator, and then the nano clay. So guys, these are the nano sensors which are being used, and definitely these are used in the packaging material. And their advantage, if you see, the advantage is detection of bacteria and virus. So now these nano biosensors, what they do is, whenever there is any bacteria or virus, they help the food package to change the color from green to red Yeah, I mean, foreign scientists, they have gone to such an extent that now the packaging will only tell you that this food contains bacteria and virus and it should not be consumed. So they are doing this with the help of nano biosensors, right? So now whenever there is any contamination of virus or bacteria in the food, the package would change the color. So now there would be small sensors on the package, biosensors. So they would change the color from the green to red. So now it is an indication for the consumer that the food is now spoiled and you should not consume it, or you should not rather buy it from the market, right? Yeah, I mean, this is the intelligent packaging, novel technology, novel packaging, intelligent packaging, right? So now next is metallized nanosensors. So now this helps in uh, detection of change in food color, then detection of harmful gases, detection of toxins in milk. So guys, now there are certain metallized nanosensors. Now guys, don't go in detail. Please don't go and read about what these metallized nanosensors are, because these are not at all important for you, right? Just since this is a novel methods which are available in the market, also although they are not available in India, but yeah, these are available in the foreign markets, right? So now these nanosensors, they can help you to detection of the food color change. For example, now you go and buy chips from the market and you come home, you see those chips are these are completely unpalatable. You cannot eat those chips. Their color has changed. The oil in which they were cooked, that oil that is in the chips, it has become rancid. It's giving bad odor, right? So now the packaging only would tell you. So whenever you go to a supermarket, this I'm talking about the future. Whenever you go to the supermarket, now the packaging would be so smart, if it would show you change in color on the package. So this would indicate that the food is not palatable, you should not buy it. And also, if there is any generation of harmful gases from the food inside the packet, again these metallized nanosensors, they can help you to detect it, and again you can avoid buying that food. And also guys, toxins detection in the milk. So milk, as you know, it's very nutritious. So if there are any toxins in the milk, so again these metallized nanosensors, they would change their color and they would tell the consumer or the shelf owner or the retailer that the this product has been it is not unfit for human consumption and it should be removed from the shelf, and also consumer should not buy it. So see, I mean guys, this is the extent where the research has gone, right? So now temperature abused indicator. So whenever food is stored at not stored at desired temperature. So guys, we talked about temperature abuse in our previous class. So whenever the food is not stored at the desired temperature, which it requires normally, so that is known as temperature abuse. So now there is no way for the food business operator to cheat the consumers, right? So you would have seen this in your normal life also. Sometimes you go and buy Amul packet or Mother Dairy packet of milk, and when you come home, you see it's unfit for consumption, right? It gets completely destroyed whenever you boil it, right? Sometimes you would have definitely seen in your this case. So now that is because that food has been temperature abused. So now in future, the packaging would only tell you that don't buy this food because this has been temperature abused. So now there is no chance for these food business operators to cheat you guys, right? So next is nano clay. So guys, this also creates gas barrier which minimize the leakage of the CO2 from the carbonated drinks. So carbonated drinks, for example, your Pepsi or your Coke or be it any other drink. So now this gas is very essential to give the fizz and the flavor to these carbonated drinks. If that is lost, then there is no point in buying that product, right? So now these nano clays, they would act as a gas barrier. So they would not allow the CO2 to cross it. If it has crossed, then again this nano clay would change the color and it can easily indicate the buyer also to the manufacturer that this food is now unfit for human consumption, right? I hope guys things are clear. Just give me thumbs up if things are clear. And yes, guys, all these are intelligent packaging options. Although these are not available in India, but yeah, I mean, it's not too far. Even Indian markets, they would employ these foods because FSSAI, they are coming with stringent guidelines. So definitely, it's just matter of 4 to 5 years when all these packaging standards would come to India as well. right? So guys, yeah, I mean, this is what you need to read in this packaging topic. It's not at all important from examination point of view, but yeah, just for your knowledge, I thought it's given in the topic, so we'll just run through it, right? So guys, thank you so much. That's all about today. So there are few other novel technologies which are given in notes. You can just run through it, just give a glance through it, and these are very very easy, right? So right. So, guys, thank you so much. So, we'll meet tomorrow with a new lecture. Right. So, I'll see you tomorrow then. And yeah, just run through the notes which I gave you. And even if you want to skip this chapter, you can skip it. It's not at all important. But I would rather say don't skip it. Just give a glance. Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for your time. So we'll meet tomorrow again. So in case you have any doubts, so just WhatsApp me. I'll help you over there. Right. So thank you, guys. Good night. Take care. See you tomorrow.